Alright, first things first, before we even get into training mode, go to your button settings in the main menu and go ahead and add a dash macro and then add a Roman cancel one too if you want. The only reason I have the Roman cancel one is if you want to RC drift, it's a lot easier to just plink your dash macro and your Roman cancel one than it is for me to like dash and then press the 3 buttons. And I've been making videos for a little while now, and I know there's going to be somebody in the comments that says, you know, macros are cheating, just press forward twice, and they're going to take it personally, right? If that's your mindset, if you think that using in-game features like this is cheating and it's not something that you want to do, this video is probably not for you. Not that the video is centered around dashing with your macro button, but this video is for people who want to get better, not people who want to gatekeep over weird things like that. All right, let's talk a little bit about dashing today. I think it's a tool that you need to know how to use to get in, to get out, or to stay in. But the real question is, when should you dash, right? So you don't get counter hit and blown up for it. And the first application I want to talk about is dashing when they whiff a button, right? So I have RAM set to do far slash here, like you can see, and I'm going to whiff punish it, right? I'm going to do that. I'm going to dash after she whiffs and then cancel my dash with a button. And I'm going to have momentum, so I'm going to end up next to her anyways, but I can also like cancel it into a special if I want, right? And that's a very effective way to get in and also get some damage off of a whiff button by your opponent. Basically, my game plan right now revolves a lot around dashing on Giovanna. It involves me playing outside of my opponent's range, right? Playing somewhere over here, and then waiting for them to whiff, and then I can get in, right? And then once I get in, I want to mix them, or I want to stay in, right? That's my goal, is to get in, stay in, and get as many knockdowns as possible so I can keep them guessing. Another property about dashing that I'm not used to from other games that I've played is that it gives you momentum, right? So you see it carries you forward a little bit further, especially if you cancel it into a button, right? So you'll see I'll cancel this and do 5k, but I still, you know, sort of move forward a little bit. This can help you when you're trying to meaty as well, when you're trying to hit your opponent on wake up. So I'm going to knock ram down with a combo here, and then we're going to use momentum to sort of help us meaty a little better. Something like that, right? The momentum helps me personally be able to meaty a little bit more effectively. I don't know if that's a pseudo thing or if that's a real thing, but if you're having trouble hitting your opponent on wake up, try that. Another thing that the momentum can help you do, if you're having trouble throwing or getting in range to throw or teching, it's easier for me personally to throw out of a dash than just raw throwing, because raw throwing, I walk up and then I'm not sure if I'm even in the right range, and then I just whiff it, right? And then you can get blown up really hard for whiffing a throw. So dashing and then canceling the dash into a throw can also help. This also might explain why sometimes you're not getting the tech whenever your opponent is throwing you and you know the throw is coming. If they dash, I feel like it mixes up the timing a little bit, and it sort of messes you up mentally. One other thing you can do is actually cancel your forward dash with a back dash, right? Like this. But just remember, like you can see there, I got the -1. If you do 3 back dashes in a row, it puts you in danger, right? So if you're consistently like canceling your forward dash into back dash like this to try and fake somebody out, I think if you do it 3 times, you'll get put in danger, and your tension gauge will start draining. And then if you keep doing it, it'll take away your tension gauge completely. The whole reason I wanted to make this video is because if you come from Street Fighter or a slower game like me, walking and blocking is pretty effective, right, to get in. But in this game, it's not. It feels like you're setting yourself up to sort of get hit at some point or get rushed down yourself. You can't play this slow. It feels like you need to play a lot faster. So walking and blocking is not as effective as waiting for them to whiff a button and then dashing in, or, you know, doing like an e-brake stop like that with your tension meter. Trying to get in using dashes rather than playing the patient game of walking and blocking feels a lot more effective. Another thing that I want to talk about that's a little bit of a new concept for me, since the only game with an air dash I have played is DBFZ, is the air dash, right? This is something new to me, but what you should know is what buttons on your character are jump cancelable, right? Because that means that you could do like something like that. You could do 5k jump cancel into an air dash and then keep them in the corner. Let me put her in the corner here. Like that, right? You can jump cancel buttons in this game into like instant air dash. And instant air dash isn't that hard because you have a dash button, right? Even if you don't have a dash button, it's still like up, forward, forward. But like I said, this is a newer concept to me, so I'll definitely make a video on this when I understand it more, when I understand the applications of air dashing versus ground dashing, and when I can find more effective ways to use it, and when I'm more consistent, right? Because a big thing with Giovanna you can do is like this. Like you can do instant air dash or just normal air dash cross up into her little slash move like that. but I don't use it very much in game because I'm not used to being in the air as much and it being safer because you can block in the air in this game. So I'm not as comfortable using it yet. But when I am more comfortable and I am finding things that are more effective to get in airborne, I'll make a video about it, and I'll definitely be more confident about that topic. So just a quick recap: when your opponent whiffs a button, you're going to want to dash in, right, and cancel your dash with a normal to punish it. And remember that you can cancel your dash with a button, right? If you didn't know that, definitely take your character in the lab and figure out what you can do. And as well as knowing things like dashing and throwing, right? Mixing in throws with your dashes. And then also something that I didn't really touch on was, catching them low when you dash too, right? You can cancel most buttons on Giovanna with a dash or out of the dash. So catching them low is always an option, catching them mid, or even doing something like this, right? Dash into a cross up just to mess them up can always be something that you can mix in. As well as little things that we touched on like meaties. Definitely look into your meaties, and I didn't talk about it, but let me show you how I set up the bot so that you can practice it, right? I want to make a whole video on meaties, but since you're already here, practice this in the meantime, right? After recovery, action 1, set it to throw. So that way when you knock them down, if you get the meaty right, you'll get a counter hit like that. And if you get it wrong, let me knock her down and just walk up, right? She's going to throw you, and then you know that you mistime your meaty and that you got thrown out of it. That alone will get you very far in this game. Just meeting people on wake up, because a lot of people like to mash, and if they realize that you're mistiming your meaty or you're just pressing a button randomly on their wake up, they can throw you out of it, right? So it's important to know. That's one of the most important things to know. It all comes down to a meaty timing, and it feels very odd in this game just because you have to wait out the invincibility frames, I think. Like the frame to where they can do like a reversal, you have to wait a second and then, meaty them, and then you'll get the counter hit. It's just something you have to practice. And trust me, I've practiced it in training mode for hours, trying to look at like subtle little hints that the character does when they get up. That might work for you if you're a very visual learner, but for me it just came down to a feeling, right? I just could tell when it was time to press the button on meaty rather than trying to look for a visual cue. And everybody's going to learn different. Everybody's going to understand when to time it differently. And then the other thing that we kind of touched on was if you are having trouble throwing or getting in range to throw, canceling your dash into a throw can always help you.